Hey guys, this is the RIOT podcast, and what a privilege to be able to hear it.
Will you hear the difference that this is the podcast that now everyone in the room has new mic arms, including Obi?
You know what? I actually didn't include that in the podcast.
You didn't?
No, so we'll just tell you guys, like, my the all new mic arms are in, and some people are like, I want to see them. Well, you can.
You can.
Today, we did a food fight in which you'll be able to see the mic arms.
Yeah, it's basically what holds our microphones up, and so if you join us at RadioU RIOT on Facebook, and then on YouTube when we do live events or food fights or artist interviews, what's nice is, our mics aren't sticking in our faces as much. So it's much, much better.
Well, and it's taken a little adjusting, but I really like it.
Good.
I really genuinely like it.
You seem to have more space over there now.
I feel like I do.
Yeah.
And my eye lines I don't look at a mic arm anymore, which is weird because it used to be right in front of my computer screen and now it's not. I'm okay with this.
It's not a bad thing.
I like that. So, yeah, it's nice. Today in the podcast, we get into, we talk about Nintendo's E3 stuff. We have trouble with yawning. We've got an eyeliner problem, but it's not Nikki. We talk all the money that Avengers is making, the Superintendent Pooper, and a food fight. Oh,
a Superintendent Pooper update.
Yeah.
Update on that.
You guys, you all remember
It's the one guy.
It's him. Well, he's back in the news because, court and stuff.
And we did a RIOT food fight with the new chocolate peanut butter pie Oreos.
And they good.
And like we mentioned, you can watch that at RadioU RIOT on Facebook and on YouTube too.
All right. So you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Remember, you can always stop by our Facebook page, find links to all of our social media stuff, riot.radiou.com. It is the RIOT.
Awful, terrible, horrible, pathetic. Someone grab me a thesaurus. I'm gonna need more words to describe how bad these guys are. It's the worst of the RIOT on Radio U.
It is the RIOT on Radio U. Look, it's time for you guys to get home and start going through the boxes. You start digging, look for anything and everything you can find.
Maybe some of the walls. Are we supposed to be looking for something that's valuable that we didn't realize?
It could be, because we've got a pair of grandparents here. I believe they're from the UK. They found some Chinese vase in some box.
A vase.
Well, it was a vase, but on closer inspection, it very much was a vase.
Because that means it's worth way more.
An 18th century Chinese vase that has been in a shoebox. I said it was in the UK. It was in France. And it just sold for approximately $17 million US.
Oh, wow. How do they even know? I mean, I wouldn't think to... let's go check and see what this thing is. I
would
have just sold the thing like in a garage sale or something.
Says here, it was part of a family inheritance recently discovered in an attic. And so they took it to an expert, just like, hey, what is this thing? And the guy was like, holy crap.
That was a quote, actually. But he was French.
Nope, I can't. Le crap.
Le crap.
The quote here is, this is a major work of art.
A major find.
It's as if we had just discovered a Caravaggio, which doesn't mean anything to me.
You'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, what is a Caravaggio? I mean, obviously, it's an artist. Yep, he's a painter, and I have seen some of these paintings, so very well.
Maybe that's also an artist where one of the pieces were, gone and just found in an attic or a garage.
So they said we knew it had some value, but we had no idea.
So it must have been around other more valuable items, so they knew to get them checked.
I don't know. So they just found it.
We don't have any of that stuff.
No, probably not.
And I don't think any of us ever will. We just don't have that around. Like, we don't have attics full of old stuff. No. I don't even think I can get into my attic, so...
I can. I've been up there.
There's nothing there.
I installed an antenna in there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a part of a dynasty.
It's worth less than when I put it in there. Just like everything else we touch.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to them.
To them, yes. But you know what? I'm telling you. Like, it's time to do some digging. What do you have?
You need to go to your grandparents' house.
Yeah,
that's where you need to go look at.
Or your great-grandparents. How far back does your family go? That's
you need
another
to find
thing.
The family house and start going through those items. That's where you'll find something.
Find some goodies and then sell them.
It wasn't that bad. Who am I kidding? The RIOT is the worst. You'd be better off listening to Fusion or Battery on the Radio U app or at RadioU.com.
It is the RIOT on Radio U. Now, Nikki, this isn't going to sound very nice, but I want everybody to just back up off me for a minute.
Just let him say it.
I'm waiting for you to crack.
For what? Oh, for
intermittent fasting.
Now, so far, no cracking.
Now, here's the thing. Many of you think that in me saying that, what you're translating that to is you're waiting for me. I'm waiting on Nikki to fail.
Yeah.
That's not it.
And that's not how I take it with you.
Because I feel like what has to happen is you have to break down and then you'll be on it long term.
Sure.
Like right now, the short term you is still whatever. I feel like you have to have that moment where short-term you dies and then long-term you is resurrected.
Comes back in.
To a complete lifestyle change.
Sure. And you don't have to do intermittent fasting all the time. Like some people do it for a little bit of time or so many days a week.
Okay.
So really, you once you start it, you kind of figure out, and some people do it every day.
What's best for you?
Yeah, it just kind of depends on what's best for you.
Okay.
Truly. So I'm still making my way through it and just feeling it out.
You haven't cracked yet.
I've not cracked yet.
Like you have not just cried.
No. Well, no. It's hard during the mornings. I'm not going to lie. And now I found it's hard during the afternoons, even during the time when you're eating.
Right.
I told Obi yesterday, like, you just feel weird at certain times because your body's clock is like adjusting to when your body sends hunger signals.
Sure.
And it's just all out of whack for a while. So you have to kind of,
So yesterday,
go through it.
When you were feeling really hungry,
but
you said you knew you weren't hungry.
You're not feeling hungry. Your body's just sending you all these weird signals of like, I think I'm going to tell you I'm hungry.
So,
but not like hungry to where you'll go and try to crack then, but just like feel spacey, like you feel weird.
Because my thought is like my body's telling me I'm hungry and it's during my 8-hour eat time.
Go eat. Well, no, because you'd still eat, but it wouldn't stop. Like it's just a very weird time.
Feeling hungry, but like not able to
just think
get
about your body's just like telling you all these weird signals and you don't know what's going on for a bit.
That sounds very similar to when I quit soda, how I would sit down to play video games and I was desperate for some soda.
Yeah.
And you were just like, bro, you don't need it. You don't even really want it. Like, but there's just something in your brain that's like, need it.
So that's kind of what you kind of work through of like your body's just going, well, I don't know what to do anymore. But I'm still doing it, so still fine. It takes a little bit to get used to.
So do you see yourself, do you think maybe like a 5-day intermittent with a 2-day weekend extravaganza?
That might be. Well, just by way of when I get up and tend to eat anyways on a weekend, it's kind of almost the same window of time that I'd be fasting during the week. So I don't know. I'll just keep going until I feel like I'm good.
The other question that I have to ask you is that I got a text message from Chris yesterday.
Yeah.
It was photos of peanut butter pie Oreos.
Did he find them? The chocolate peanut butter pie ones?
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
He's going to bring them in.
Today? Or well, now I'm not prepared.
But it's not going to be in the window.
No, it's not. And what would be worse is during the window just to have straight out like Oreos.
Why is that so bad?
Well, meaning like your body's like, no, we're doing great. It's not like I broke the fast early for like celery. I broke it for Oreos.
Well,
I'll have to think about that one.
I have to figure that out.
If not,
or you can just watch us eat them, I guess.
I can watch you guys eat that in not a weird way. It's not weird.
It's not weird. That might be, you know what? I said I've been waiting to see you crack. That might be the one.
That might be finally the time.
Right here on the air, as Chris and I are eating Oreos, Nikki starts crying and throwing things.
It's like, no, great. Way to be supportive, guys.
It's like, no, Nikki, this is it.
No.
Get pushed through this moment.
Yeah, so I do that intermittent fasting where you eat in an 8-hour window and you don't eat within a 16-hour window. So that's what we're currently doing.
All right.
Once again, there just wasn't enough material for Best of the Riot. Actually, there wasn't any Best of the Riot at all. None. Zero. Look, it's all bad. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not bad. It's the worst. Radio U.
It is The Riot on Radio U, 877-2-RADIO-U. As you are no doubt aware, the Electronics Entertainment Expo is happening right now. That is
E3. So you're like, why is there all this gaming news in the news this week? That's why.
There actually has been a lot of gaming stuff going on, right?
Or like when I was on YouTube last night, all the trending videos were just basically the conferences from everybody or their their, not press releases, but their live streams of stuff, and that's why.
Well, Nikki, yesterday, our friends at Nintendo, who are not our friends and don't actually know us,
decided to give out some news.
They dropped their news. So I got a couple of items from their press conference / treehouse, all the stuff they dropped. So yesterday, just boom, right on the spot, Fortnite became available on the Nintendo Switch.
Saw a lot of
That's
people. A lot of people talk about that and how their time is gone now.
That is a big one. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is getting an expansion. I was never
not
into
a fan.
it. Fire Emblem is coming to the Nintendo Switch. That actually is a big deal. I'd be interested in that. Mario Party is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
All the characters.
That's going to be out on October 5th.
Okay.
And no, then this is the big every character announcement.
This one?
Yes. And that would be the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And they say that every character that has ever been in a Smash Brothers game is going to be in this game. That was big news.
So not every Nintendo character, but just everyone that's been in a previous Smash Brothers game?
Every character that's ever been in a Smash Brothers game. So that means any crossover characters, little characters. He was on the Game Boy one, but the 3DS one, but he wasn't on the Wii one or all that stuff. Every character, every version shows up in this Switch version.
It's quite a lot.
If you're a Smash fan, it's a pretty big deal as far as announcements go. You know what? I was a little disappointed in Nintendo's showing yesterday. They didn't show anything for Metroid Prime 4. That was something I was definitely looking for.
You're giving a thumbs up, but actually you mean a thumbs down.
They didn't show anything from that, and I was just kind of hoping, honestly, I was hoping they were going to come out and say, hey, Super Mario Galaxy, now available digitally on your Switch.
They just didn't do it, though.
No, they were like, ain't nobody got time for that. So that didn't happen. In fact, that was kind of the big news. Now, Nintendo has a tendency for their press conferences to announce things that are like, hey, sometime in the next 6 months, This is what we're going to do. So, a lot of people made announcements that are like next March or next whatever. So we still don't know what their further out plans are, but I'll have to say the next 6 months, not a lot that I'm really excited about for Nintendo.
Coming out of E3 from any of the major ones, I don't think anything in the next 6 months have been too huge.
I haven't been
wowed.
I really have not been wowed by anything at E3, though, of course, that Assassin's Creed Odyssey's got my attention. It is the Riot.
If Nikki sounds a little bored this morning, it's because Obadiah is still talking.
Too much talking, too much talking.
It's the Riot on RadioU.
Talking.
It is the Riot on RadioU, 877-2-RadioU. Did you know that moon rocks are the property of the United States government? No, seriously.
They are.
Any rock or soil sample or anything brought back from the moon is considered United States government property. Now, you know why that is, because they know if you start testing them, you're going to find out that it's not moon rock. It's just from Arizona.
You just have to be careful. So they try to control that. And this has been a long-standing, I feel like it's been a long-standing lawsuit.
It has. So there's just all kinds of crazy stories out there about moon rocks. Like there's a whole book called Sex on the Moon about a guy who stole a bunch of moon rocks, bless you.
I had to sneeze, excuse me.
And he took them home and spread them on his bed. And
oh!
That's real. That's a real story.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a book about it. I almost read the book. I was fascinated by the idea of who is this guy? But there's that. Then we've got the story of Laura Chicho. Laura Chicho was best buddies with Neil Armstrong's daughter. And when he got back from the moon, he was like, Laura, look what I have for you. Moon rocks. Here you go.
Gave her a little vial of it.
A little vial of dust. And she's got a letter of authenticity from Neil himself. Though, when you really look at it, it actually looks less like a letter of authenticity and more like just a signature.
Yeah, but back then.
But whatever.
Back then, that was the real thing.
So she is facing up to the fact that, hey, I got something that's worth a lot of money.
Well, she's been trying to sell it, hasn't she?
I don't know that she has.
So, they won't, it's just been problematic.
So she is now suing NASA, saying this is mine, not yours. And NASA, of course, not offering any public comment on the matter. But
behind the scenes, they've been saying, "Nuh-uh, it's ours, not yours."
We're the ones that sent the rocket and the thing and whatever, so we get to keep it.
And we shouldn't have given it to you.
Yeah, it's kind of like, as a kid, if your parents took you on vacation and you had a souvenir, and that souvenir became worth money and you were going to put it on eBay, and your parents are like, "No, I bought Mr. Farfels. I paid for the trip. Mr. Farfels is mine.
No,
Give him back."
Not even your parents, but the owner of where you went.
Okay.
Because your parents is still family, but this is a complete stranger to you.
Maybe the company your parents work for. They're like, we gave them the job, which gave you the money that sent you to the place.
So you can't
hand over Mr. Farfels.
I love Mr. Farfels, by the way.
Well, he's a little stuffed animal that's now worth a whole lot.
That'd be a great pet name. But yeah, I think she's been wanting to sell it, and that's been causing the problems with it.
Well, one thing's for sure.
And they want it back.
If she could sell it, rich. Like, there is money in them there hills. Moonrock plus a letter of authenticity from Neil Armstrong.
Isn't this the lady where, she said, fine, why don't you guys buy it? But they're not. So they want it back. They want her to give it back to them. Or maybe that was a different lady. There's been this, back and forth with different types of Moonrock stuff. Maybe it's not her, but in my mind, that's how I'm taking this story.
Well, here's a couple here is another story, but a couple that had moon rocks. I don't know why they did. Somebody gave them to them, whatever. NASA seized them. Mm-hmm. They took the government to court, and the government had to pay out $100,000 to them for taking the rocks.
For the moon rocks?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Where would you get those from? It's kind of similar to the same company where they're like, well, we'll name a star after you. And you're like, that's not real.
No.
You're like, here, you can buy moon rocks. That's normally not real.
Well, you know what? I guess in some cases it is real.
Depends on who you know.
Depending on who you know. But I'll tell you what, if you guys want moon rocks, I've got some for sale. Cheap. Just call me.
It's the radio equivalent of going to McDonald's and ordering a fish fillet. Hey, that's one of my favorite things from Mickey D's. The worst of the riot on RadioU.
It is the riot. All right, Nikki, let's manufacture some enthusiasm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm sleepy.
It seems like a sleepy day. What is it, Wednesday? You're not even to Friday.
I know. What? What? I feel like I gave 100% Monday and Tuesday, and so now I'm ready to.
And it showed, by the way.
You really felt it.
Showed.
You really felt it
on air and off air, just a day to day.
Yeah. So I believe.
But now we could just fall over if you pushed us.
Yeah, we totally could. And just don't push me, I guess. And don't push Dumbo, okay? He's sensitive.
I guess I forgot they were doing a live-action version of it.
I did, too. They just dropped the first teaser trailer for the live-action Dumbo movie. A story about a small elephant and big ears. I don't really know much else. He can fly because he has big ears, right?
And I assume it's a lesson to not make fun of, or?
I guess.
I've not seen it.
Here's what I remember. I know at some point in my childhood, I saw Dumbo.
Yeah. It's not enough to remember it now.
I remember Dumbo being incredibly sad. I don't remember why. I just know that anytime somebody was like, we should watch Dumbo, which admittedly we can count those instances on one hand.
It made the room sad.
I was never interested in going back to Dumbo.
It looks like it was Tim Burton who's a part of this, so his style.
Yeah, that means we were really weird.
I was hoping the guy who did, what was the Jungle Book? The live action of that.
I still never watched that.
That's really good.
Is it?
Yes.
And that was Jon Favreau, right?
Yeah, he did an amazing job with that one.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely in the Disney wheelhouse because he did Tomorrowland, which I thought was not amazing, but good. There was they were close to having a better movie there than they ended up having. I really felt like they were right on the verge of something great. Then you had Jungle Book. Of course, he did Iron Man 1 and 2. And what else has he done lately? Oh, he is the showrunner for Disney's live-action Star Wars thing they're doing, their TV show that they're going to do. So I guess no Dumbo for him.
No, he was busy.
He's busy doing something else. So, yep, that's the word. It's going to be live action. The CGI looks pretty good.
It does. I'm just not terribly interested by the story of it. But maybe if you watched it enough when you were younger, you'd have the warm fuzzies with it.
The article that I read said that it will be a nicer Dumbo than the animated one. So maybe I'll be able to go see it without, sobbing into my popcorn.
That is true. Like, if you go back and watch some of the older animated movies from back before we were born, some of that stuff's pretty harsh and not what would work nowadays.
We're sensitive now.
A lot of people are more sensitive, and we can't just do that.
We can't handle whatever the heck you're doing over there.
I didn't catch, though, when is this supposed to come out?
You know what? I don't actually have a release date here. Let's see. Dumbo release date.
If not, it's just coming soon.
October 23rd, 1941.
We missed it. We missed it again.
I cannot believe.
I don't know if we need to schedule reminders, but why are we missing all these movies?
It just blew right past us, right? Let's see. This says...
Coming March 2019.
March 29th, 2019.
That's it.
So that's great. We got plenty of time to get ready. Let's not miss it like last time.
I might pass on seeing the live-action Dumbo, but we'll see.
I'm not interested. And I don't mean that in a mean way, because I don't want to be mean, but I'm not interested at all.
There are pros and cons to everything in life, except for the riot. Here, it's no pros and all. It's the riot on Radio U.
You have to stop it.
It's the riot. I was just yawning.
No, you're not just yawning. You are full-bodied, massive, 3-minute long yawns.
But it's all off air. No one else knew. It's fine.
But the thing is,
it's contagious.
The part that's unfair is you do that off air, which leaves me having to sit over here in the on-air portion trying not to yawn.
Because by then it's come to your side and
that's
you're supposed
right,
to yawn.
it's rotated. Remember when we did the wave yesterday? But it's with the yawn this time.
I'm sorry. I don't know why. I just want to keep yawning today.
Oh, great.
Hey, we're that relaxed, all right? Just do a big stretch with it, too. Get it out. Just shake it out. Stretch it out. A big yawn.
What are we supposed to do? How do you stop?
I don't know.
How do you stop?
One of us has to leave the room for a moment.
Wait, let's go. How do you stop yawning?
Like it's a yawn, like a chain. We just keep going back and forth.
That's sad. The first autocorrect option was, how do you stop loving somebody?
Oh, that is sad.
That's dark.
Does that...
Take a few deep breaths through your nose and exhale through your mouth.
No, does that sound nice to hear us breathe through our nose? Okay. What's it supposed to do, though? I'm going to yawn in a moment. That's been exhausting.
Drink a cool beverage. Stop it. You want to split? There's a Diet Pepsi back there. I saw it when I was getting water. We could split it.
I'm not
you can't
Diet
have
Pepsi.
it.
I wouldn't do it for Diet Pepsi.
You wouldn't?
No, I don't like this stuff.
Keep your environment cool.
Stop yawning.
It didn't work.
I'm just not going to look at you. I turned the temperature down in the room, so it's a little cool in here. Just a little snuggly. It just seems very tired.
A simple guide on how to stop yawning. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Excessive yawning. 10 possible reasons? Drowsiness, sleeplessness, fatigue, central sleep apnea, obesity, heart attack. Heart attack?
Oh, God. Why do you have to read the list?
Stroke? Multiple sclerosis?
Why aren't you just reading that? We're just tired.
Well, okay. It's getting worse. All right.
It's not getting any better. No, it's fine. Sorry, guys.
See.
We passed it on to you.
Please stop yawning. You're making me so tired, and I haven't gotten my Starbucks yet.
We're very sorry.
We need to practice diaphragm breathing, use a cold compress, have a cold drink. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get a cold drink. I got some water here.
Yeah, let's just take a drink.
It's coldish.
Walk around, take a break.
I'm sorry, walking around was not on the list.
It's not? I would think that would help if we just kind of get up and have some movement.
Cold water. Oh, yeah, that's going to fix it. Get your cold water. Have some cold bone broth, Nikki.
Stop yawning.
It's the riot.
There are two types of people in this world, and neither one of them likes the riot. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
It is The Riot on Radio U. Morning calisthenics, guys. Okay, we want to come across the body.
You're up, and with your new mic arm, you can do that today.
I know. I got all kinds of room up in here. I'm doing great. So
you can stand up and
be
free.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, this is fantastic. Nikki and I have stopped yawning, except we spent the whole time yawning while you guys weren't here. I got something that's going to scare you so badly, Nikki.
Yes.
That when you see it, all your yawning's going to be over.
Is it a picture or what is it?
There's a woman in Bangkok. She spent one night there, and it made her humble. And she was in the taxi.
What happened to her eye?
She was in a taxi doing her makeup.
Yeah.
The taxi.
Oh, it's in her eye. It's in her eye. The eyeliner is in her eye.
She was.
The pencil, the eyeliner pencil has stabbed her in the eye.
Stuck in her eye.
Oh, that is a lesson learned. Oh, and blood came out her nose, too.
Oh, well, okay, I'm hoping that the bloody nose is related
from the eye,
but
isn't
unrelated. It? No, that's what I'm saying. Is I hope that she didn't. I'm hoping she didn't jam this pen in her eye and then her nose started bleeding, because that's the most terrifying option.
But that's what I would think would happen.
Well, what I think it might be is I think that there was a car accident, so she's got the pen in her hand, and I think she got slammed forward.
And it shoved the pencil into her.
It shoved the pencil in her eye, and I think she hit her nose. That's the narrative that I need it to be.
That is bad. She was in a lot of pain. She could still explain what was going on. Not a lot of blood. She had a small nosebleed from it. And so they had to take her to the hospital where they removed the eyeliner pencil without any injuries. That's well, I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Excuse me, copywriter.
That is
an injury.
That's their words.
That's an injury.
And
she's got a pen in her eye.
To watch what you're doing when you're in the car. That is a lesson. Even if someone's driving you, watch that.
Oh, man. You're never putting your makeup on in the car again. It's done.
I couldn't do eyeliner anyways in the car. That's just too hard.
Well, it did look like they were in the middle of some pretty heavy traffic, so maybe
it was slow at that time.
Things were slow, no big deal.
In the first picture, it just looks like there's a little dot, a circle of eyeliner to the right. And then you realize that's just the profile. Like now you can see there's a pencil. She's been stabbed by the pencil in her eye.
Yeah, it looks like she did
the other eye, I see. She got to
and
that
she
one
did a great
first.
job.
She did
so this
great.
was just the second one.
That is a bad day.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm taking the day off.
I'm taking a few days.
Oh, a couple?
I think the doctor might say maybe a week. I'm surprised there isn't more problems. Like your eye, or did it just hit in between your eye and your eye socket?
It could just be back in the socket. It'll probably be really sore for a couple of days. And, you're going to be terrified of putting makeup on for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
Other than that.
And being in the car, I would have a problem with that, too. I'd be very nervous.
I am both comforted and terrified by the things that can happen to the human body, and we can keep going.
Yeah.
I don't want to experience any more.
And this still is a lesson, because we've seen a lot of people not take the time to do things at home before they leave, and they think they can do it in the car.
Yep.
So don't do it. Don't shave, no makeup, no whatever.
Yeah, just, you know what, you're better off, you do want this thing in your eye or no makeup? No makeup.
No makeup, we don't need it.
Like there are days I don't shave. I just come in here, no shave.
This is like the opposite of the lady. It was viral, but I don't know if you got this viral one because it's on the different side of things. But this lady was doing this Kat Von D eyeliner.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to always stay on your eyes like it's a really heavy duty one. And she was in a car accident. So she took a picture when she was in the hospital because the eyeliner didn't budge. Like it was just amazing how well it still held on through all the stuff that she'd been through. And so her review, she posted a review online of the eyeliner and it went viral. So it's like the opposite. That eyeliner stayed on, stuck. She was fine. She, was obviously in a lot of pain. But in this, the eyeliner went right through into her eye.
Hey, you know what, Nikki? I think that's unfair. I feel like this eyeliner did stick with her and it was there the whole time.
That's true, but she just hadn't put it on yet.
So let's just get some clarity on that.
But just two sides of the stories of both women with makeup and accidents.
The worst of the riot. It's like Lucky Charms, but no marshmallows. Radio U.
It is the riot on Radio U, 877-2 Radio U. So how many times did you see Avengers Infinity War? Was it bunches and bunches? Well, guess what? You made it all possible.
It was because of you.
Avengers has hit $2 billion worldwide.
So it is the top movie of 2018, but I was just curious, how does that stack, like in, overall, like how is it projected, especially compared to the other Avengers stuff?
Well, if you take a look at it, it's the fourth movie to make $2 billion in history. It's the third to do so in its initial run, meaning that...
Titanic came back around again and was re-released in theaters, so that was a second run of it.
Let's see. Infinity War has done it, Titanic has done it, Avatar has done it, and Star Wars The Force Awakens has done it. So those are the 4 movies that have made $2 billion in theaters. It's the 5th highest grossing film of all time in the United States. It holds the record for the biggest domestic debut ever, $257.7 million. And it's the 3rd highest grossing release ever internationally. Now, wait a minute. I don't understand this. It says it's the 3rd highest grossing film internationally at $1.346 billion, but now they're saying it's made $2 billion. So can someone explain that?
I don't know. You're not supposed to question.
So, I guess I don't understand that. But,
you only saw it once, right?
Yeah, just one time.
Yeah.
I do want to see it again, okay.
But as a Movie Pass user, he was only allowed to see it technically
one time while using Movie Pass.
Unless you got a ticket for another thing and went in that theater.
Yeah, Movie Pass is making its money on me. I haven't been to the movie since Avengers, and that's been 5 weeks, I think, is how long. Is that because it wasn't a first week in May? Something, but I haven't been back. Life has, I know this sounds ridiculous, but it's been so crazy that I just haven't. I've had time, but I've used it on other things.
Sure.
So I need to get disciplined and start
go back.
using.
I mean, you're not using your money here. You already have one.
So there's that. Avengers do. It's not that I'm not interested in it, but I feel like the Marvel movies have gotten so episodic that it's like, well, you know what? It'll be on Blu-ray in no time.
Sure.
No big deal. I'll
Might as well
see
just
it
wait.
again. Yeah. I was excited that Thor showed up on Netflix over the weekend because I hadn't bought that Blu-ray yet, and I probably won't until we get to Black Friday. So I just went ahead and watched it on Netflix. That was kind of nice, actually.
I did not catch this person's name, but I love it. You know how we've been tired recently the last couple of minutes? And it says, while you guys were talking about yawning, I was driving and thinking about how tired I am and drove 6 blocks past work.
Oh, man, I feel that.
Don't you hate when you do that? You're like, I've totally missed where I'm going. So miss the turn.
I totally feel that.
Well, thank you for texting in. You can always text us if you want, 877-2-RADIO-U. Tag your name on there, too, so we can make sure to say who you are.
Yeah. I'm excited when the royalty payments start coming out for Avengers Infinity War, because when you buy a ticket, that's buying stock.
You do not get that.
That's buying stock in the movie?
You don't get anything.
So I'm not going to get...
Nope. That's the time. You just rented the time to watch it.
That's how that works?
That's how that works. From the theater and the company, from the movie studio.
Huh. I keep waiting for a payoff, but I just...
That was the payoff. You were supposed to be so entertained.
The entertainment was the payoff.
That was supposed to be the payoff at that time.
Virtue is its own reward.
If you're looking for a peaceful start to your morning, you should look somewhere else. It's The Riot on RadioU.
It is The Riot. Nikki?
Yes?
Are you ready for the World Cup? Olé! We're not going to the World Cup.
Did you see the
USA?
You're right.
Not going.
We're not, but I know there are still so many people excited. Did you see photos of the stadium? Is it in Russia?
It is in Russia.
Okay, you have to look up the stadium. World Cup, and I say this every World Cup, and I say this every Olympic time, too. There's so much corruption, I feel like, when it's wrapped around these big events. And sometimes in Russia as well, where they have to have at the stadium so many seats to make it World Cup, to make it approved for it. You need to see what they built to make this stadium work for it. They basically built right outside more seats, and it just looks so bad.
You know what? The one I'm looking at...
I'll find you a picture.
You'll have to show me, because the one I'm looking at right now looks pretty cool.
No,
but you're saying that's definitely not it.
Well, it's this. They again had to have more seats, so they had to build, and sometimes if you look at their past Olympic stuff, they're building code. Yeah, is that the right word?
Sure,
code,
it is.
Is problematic.
The code of the Maktar.
Yes.
I feel like I shouldn't admit this, but I want you to know that I've been so excited about the Electronics Entertainment Expo that I literally had
No idea?
Zero idea that the World Cup was coming up. I had no idea it started this week. And do you know where I learned about it? I don't know if it was Josh or Hudson, but somebody from the RadioU account tweeted about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, how is it that I'm supposed to be plugged in with current events and knowing what's going on? And I had zero.
That's all right.
Zero idea that the World Cup was coming up.
That's okay.
How is that even possible?
It has been a busy couple of weeks. Very, very busy.
Man, I guess. So here's the deal. The World Cup actually starts tomorrow. I'm assuming this is Eastern Standard Time on these particular items, but we're seeing tomorrow at 11 a.m., Russia plays Saudi Arabia. And then that's the first match. And then on Friday, you've got Egypt playing Uruguay. That'll be at 8 a.m. Eastern. 11 a.m. Eastern, Morocco will play Iran or Iran. Let's see. And then Friday afternoon, you've got Portugal playing Spain.
Yeah.
And then that's it for Friday's games. And then, of course, there are games Saturday and I believe Sunday as well. So, yeah, the times I just gave you were Eastern time.
Sure.
I will say, now I haven't looked as far as, the Columbus Crew is concerned, but I know in a lot of cases, the World Cup games, like if you're in a Major League Soccer city, you should check and see what your Major League Soccer team is doing for the World Cup, because I know in times past, I've seen where they'll open the stadiums and show the games, and a lot of times they'll either have really cheap concessions or they might even give away food and different things like that. So if you're in a Major League Soccer town, it's worth checking in
to see who's hosting something.
Otherwise, you're going to end up at the pub. You're going to be eating fish and chips at 4 o'clock in the morning watching World Cup.
I just sent you a picture of one of the stadiums, and so it shows the bleachers is the word I was looking for, that they added to the outside of it to make it have enough seats for it.
Bleachers?
Yeah, the bleachers.
What is this, high school baseball?
No, but that was their way around.
Oh my gosh, really?
Stadium work. Isn't that weird?
Boy, you have to really want to. Well, you know what, though? They're not. When I think of bleachers, I think of, what do you call it, like bench seats.
No, this is...
At least they're seats.
This is outdoor one. Yeah, the stadium only had 27,000 seats, and it has to have, is it 35,000 or something? So that was the workaround.
So they just tacked them on. Whatever. Andrew says, I think it hasn't gotten as much press, meaning the World Cup, because the U.S. isn't in it. I hadn't heard much of anything about it until this week either. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just a little embarrassed. Even stuff that I don't care about, I usually have a bead on it, like, oh, yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah, you have an understanding of it.
Nothing idea
whatsoever
that it was happening.
Friends by Friends Coke Freestyle Machines. We're all friends, right? It's the Riot on Radio U.
It is the Riot on Radio U, 877-2-RADIO-U. Something that we have discussed multiple times on the show over the last few weeks is that there's a real problem with defecation in the world.
I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of news stories, and could be what was the shark term? Remember, like the summer of the shark, where it depends on
what you mean.
Different news cycles where something picks up and then suddenly that's all you're
news
hearing.
Packaging.
Yeah, and it just one happens to take, get interest and then keeps going, and I feel like bathroom stories have really picked up.
Well, if we were ranking them, the Tim Hortons woman is my favorite.
Oh, that lady.
But my second favorite is the school superintendent.
That one also became really well known.
Thomas Tramolini, 42 years old. He is a school superintendent. I don't have the name of his district, but the school district that he lives in is not the one that he's the superintendent of. Mm-hmm. And so every morning before work, he would go running. And he has been accused of drop and draw and dropping the kids off at the pool.
You go to the bathroom.
Drop the kids off at the track. That he would definitely use the bathroom on New Jersey's Homedale High School track.
Yeah.
He would either do it on the actual track or in the grass next to it. And so...
And they have video of him.
Well, and here we go. So he was... I don't know that it was an arraignment yesterday. Like, had his first appearance before the judge yesterday. Yeah. He said nothing, but his lawyer was just like, we want to see the video. So his lawyer is alleging or kind of saying like, hey,
we're not saying anything until we see what proof you actually have.
We haven't seen the video yet. Now, the prosecutor is like, We submitted everything into evidence, which means that, the defense has had access to this. But the judge, somewhere in the middle of this, was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna take a break, get back together after they've seen the actual video of it.
Sure.
So that's the defense.
That's as far as it's gone.
Show me the video.
Well, that's smart, though, because you don't want to say too much, because if you watch the video and you think you can get out of it, like, oh, you can't really tell it's you.
Right. Well,
you don't want to go ahead and admit to what you've done.
The part that I don't understand, and either A, I've gotten it wrong, or B, I've read conflicting reports, and I'm not sure which, but I thought it was one of those things where the grounds guys had actually staked out. Like, I thought they were there and caught him, but this is saying that
I think it was
they
mostly
had video evidence.
They had video of it.
Okay, well, I misunderstood that. I thought they had actually seen him.
They had been looking into it for quite some time because whoever did it was continually doing it.
It was a serial crime.
Yes, that was it.
And we're not talking about the food.
Man, I just don't understand.
It was happening over and over again.
So court is still continuing with him.
I look at this and, like, if he really did it, his best bet is just to say, yeah, it was me, pay the fine, get out.
But he's not going to say that until, last minute if he has to.
It's...
Because that will, your life's already ruined. This guy will always be known as this. But can he keep his job?
You know what, though? Like, my thing is, I'll bet you, here's what happens. He's a contract employee at this New Jersey school district. He finishes out his contract. He moves to, like, Arizona.
No one will know.
No one ever knows. It's going to require a real change. But, in his community, he's done. Like, he can't go to the store without people being like, look out, that man's going to poop on you.
I would think then that I would have just moved already. He wants to keep his job. He doesn't want to. They can't really fire him. But I would have left. I would not have stayed there.
In the right district, it's way too lucrative to leave. Superintendents have huge jobs, but they often have good salaries to go with it. So,
well, we'll keep you updated if there's any other news on that guy.
These are criminal charges. He can't leave the state.
Oh, you're right.
He's got to stay and face this.
I thought it was not quite criminal, but to me, it's just like you just did something really bad and you're in trouble.
No.
He's a criminal.
He's got problems. Well, more than one.
Nikki and Obadiah. Obadiah and Nikki.
Love, hate, hate, love.
All right, everyone in, let's go!
It's the worst of the riot on RadioU. The riot. Food fight.
It is the riot on RadioU. Chris comes through in a big way. Show him what you got, Chris.
I have the chocolate peanut butter pie Oreos.
I have to say, it's been a while since we've had a lot of people requesting a particular Oreo flavor, and that's been the one that everybody keeps texting us about. People seem to like it.
Well, last night I got a phone call, a text, of course,
from Chris.
Who calls, and Chris texted me, he's like, hey, do you want these? And it had been 20 minutes. I didn't have my phone, and when I got there, I was like, oh no, what if Chris didn't get them?
What if we missed out? So the chocolate peanut butter pie flavor is one of the newest ones, along with there's a thin Oreo version of a pistachio. We haven't tried that one yet, but if you see those...
I did not see those.
I say that the thin Oreo is a lie. Who wants a thin Oreo? They're trying to make you feel like it's good for you. It's not good for you.
But I really like pistachio flavored stuff. So if we do find that one, I would like to try that.
Okay. Well, I'm not against it, but I'm just saying that there's something about this thin Oreo concept that's no good.
Chris, thank you for bringing it in.
All right, here we go.
Crack them open, dude.
Just let it just...
How's it smell?
Does it smell like chocolate peanut butter pie?
Oh, it smells delightful.
Does it?
You
can definitely smell the graham cracker and the chocolate.
Smell test is important, Nikki.
Now the peanut butter.
How are you doing on?
See?
Nikki is not tasting today because she's still in the middle of her fasting time.
I'm doing an IF, so I'm not going to have it, but I'll watch you guys eat them.
She didn't eat Oreos. IF? Is that what? If?
Intermittent fasting.
Oh, dude.
Is it good?
Like
that's so unfair.
The smell is so good.
So is it a graham cracker cookie and then chocolate and peanut butter pie filling?
Oh.
Describe it, Obi. Describe it.
It smells like peanut butter pie.
Does it?
It really does.
It does.
Like, if you would go to Frisch's or like wherever the heck you're gonna Bob Evans,
Marie Callender's,
somewhere that you could actually buy one of these,
like a pie place.
Oh yeah, and if you look, like the cookie split down the middle there, you can see that you got a little chocolate, a little peanut butter. And I love the fact that it's got a graham cracker crust.
Yes.
That's
For the cookie.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
yeah.
about.
All right, guys, try
Here we
it.
go.
All right,
We need to do
Chris.
the
Chris
cross
and
half
Obi,
cut.
All right,
give the new Oreo a try.
Yeah, I got to get it back on and get a full bite.
Graham cracker cookie with the chocolate peanut butter pie filling, one of the new flavors.
Chris,
Yeah.
Where's your Hallelujah chorus? No? Okay. Yeah,
You wouldn't be
that's-
able to find that.
I
Wait,
can't
Oh,
all at once.
that is delicious. Oh,
Hallelujah.
that is.
Is it taste just like pie?
right now I'm overwhelmed with the graham cracker flavor. That's mostly what I feel like I taste. I got
Just try the filling.
I'm
It is
sorry.
delicious.
It
I could
really
tell you
is
maybe
good.
a hint more chocolate flavor,
Yeah.
but that'll
Good
do.
choice on that one.
Man, I think the graham cracker crust is one of the best things that Oreo has going for itself.
It wasn't like the vanilla. Like, thank you.
I do like it when they, instead of just the vanilla or the chocolate, they actually try to make it work better.
All right,
in
now
the graham
time
cracker.
for just cream.
And
Yeah,
the
all right.
cream. So
Go
the
ahead.
other flavors, we'll have to look up the list, but don't forget, coming up closer to Christmas, they're going to have the peppermint bark Oreos. That's the one we are counting down till.
All right, straight cream, Chris.
Oh,
What do you
that's
Is it good? So do you like it?
yeah.
Oh,
Peanut
yes.
butter chocolate, of course. I mean,
Yes.
it's like that's what goes together. It's like peanut butter and jelly, but no, it's peanut
It's
butter and
even
chocolate. It's
better.
better.
I'm going to tell you, Nikki.
That's fantastic.
Once you move into
Do
your
my
eating time,
I
you should
have
totally
one.
have one.
All
of these.
right, I'll give it a try later.
Oh, and a graham cracker
well,
cookie.
thank you, Chris, for
I know
bringing.
Oh, like
the graham cracker
That's
is what sells
fantastic.
it. The graham cracker really sells it, dude.
Thank
Hear
you for
that
bringing
crunch.
in the new Oreos. This one's the chocolate peanut butter pie.
Gosh, you know what? Some days I just hate
It's
this
hard
job.
to be here, right?
Some days I just hate this job. Like
It's
to
tough.
You have to be in here and eat these Oreos. Man, woo! I like that.
You now seem energized where you weren't before.
That's because I got something to live for now, Nikki.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast. Make sure to check out The Riot weekday mornings from 6 to 9 Eastern on Radio U at RadioU.com.